All right, we are back at it again with another VeVe video, and this one we have Cavell back at it again as well. So we're going to dive into what he has to say about VeVe pushing the NFT gaming space forward. So without further ado, we had to react to this one, and let's go ahead and roll that clip.
Like that gets the collectors community down. Honestly, the collector side of things has been carrying VeVe from day one. So shout out to all the collectors. Like that does come with us.
And really the whole digital collectible space, you know, talk about all the other platforms. You have Palm, Backhouse, HRO, and many others. Like we mentioned a lot of those platforms first here on the channel, and shout out to literally all the collectors out there. I mean, definitely has pushed this space forward. So shout out to each and every one of you out there. So yeah.
Certain level of respect, but I still believe that there's going to come a day where collectors are the minority within this community. And that's the goal. That's what everyone wants. Everyone wants everyone here right now to become irrelevant.
Whoa. All right, but let's hear him out. Let's hear him out.
That is when we are going to have the most success from being here in VeVe. Is when everyone here, because I'm not even really a collector, I'm just an early investor in what I know that this project can do in the future if they continue to make the right moves. So the collectors here, you collectors here, you want to become irrelevant.
And to me, this is like speaking to all digital collectors out there, right? I think this for me is more macro, the way it hits me personally. Now he's kind of just talking about, you know, within the VeVe ecosystem, but this is to me much wider. But let's go ahead and continue.
To become that niche, small community that no one actually knows about or cares about or stuff like that. You may become an OG in the VeVe-verse where they walk through some of your places in the VeVe-verse and you just have this crazy stuff, this crazy gallery like you a museum yourself. Like that's what you're gonna be. You're gonna be unicorns. Like all of you here right now collecting all this stuff, I believe that you're gonna be unicorns in the VeVe-verse. And that's, people are gonna come through and see all the cool stuff that you have, not understand how you were.
So this is where I draw the macro parallel. What I mentioned there is when I look at GameStop or, you know, I guess places like GameStop, is the games are actually the revenue driver that bring in the foot traffic. And I think we'll see the same thing play out here. And that's where I draw the parallel. And I have that, like where it hits me is where I see that playing out on the digital side of things. Like if you look at Immutable X, for example, they focus on Web3 games and that's it. And then VeVe's on there as well. I think VeVe's going to be, you know, benefit from those Web3 games on there and really the entire Web3 game space as a whole. And I think that's where a lot of the digital collectible platforms will definitely have a benefit from that. You know, if NBA was to develop their own Web3 game, I think that definitely would help out NBA Top Shots, for example, you know, especially if it was like in the same ecosystem like Flow. So there's a lot of like parallels I draw to that. And I think this is where the NFT space is just naturally going to go, is games are just going to dominate, and we'll see a lot, I think, in the top 100 and possibly. So we'll see though. But I think that's where the NFT space is going to go for sure.
Able to get all this stuff. And you're just going, that's just what it's going to be. Like you look at all the buildings like in your city, go downtown and stuff like that. Look at all the buildings. The people who own them, it's like, they're barely ever seen. It's just like cool buildings. You go through, you see a bunch of cool stuff. You don't know much history on it and things like that. You don't know much about it. It's just there. And I feel like that's what a lot of the collectors are going to be. A lot of the collectors are going to own the stuff like that. You can sell those. You can send those to your, what we do know is the power that comes with NFTs. The power that comes with NFTs, they can do things like all the skins and stuff I was talking about, all the skins and the
So basically, if you hold an NFT, it unlocks a skin. That's definitely where a strong suit, where really any platform would have a lot of success, is like that utility side of things. So that's what he's getting into.
Camos and stuff like that. You can sell those. You can send those to your, like, let's say my friend wanted to play Apex Legends with me. I play Apex Legends a lot now. When you start off, you only get a certain few characters. If I have a character and I want to send my friend that character or a skin for a character, there's not really a way to do that or to sell certain.
Only with Web3 you can do that.
Things back and stuff like if you got to buy something that's very valuable, your friend would just have to luck up and get it. Your friend would just have to go and try to buy it himself. But with NFTs, what can be created in gaming is a way where people can buy directly from us, like
peer to peer.
The gamer themselves, the people can get their money back. If somebody spends $10, they could sell what they spent, what they bought.
So you can do this on big time. This is just an example, like one game. There's a lot of games in Web3 you can actually do this on. As you can see on the left, there's like a lot of titles. But like in big time, you can go in with your buddies and like crash dungeons and kill like final bosses and get like super rare loot sometimes. And you can actually sell it if you don't like it, or you just want to make money, or whatever, right? Like you can see one of this like super limited ethereal armory that's like it has utility in the game, and you can actually sell it as well because it has a high value and it has a super limited amount of supply. So that's why it's worth 4.3K right there. But their other collectibles are fun too. Like there's other ones you can get as cheap as, $5 or a couple, even I've seen in some cases $2 or $3 on this platform. Now the prices might have went up a little bit because they just launched their preseason, what have you there. But that's definitely an example of like what you can do, what's possible with Web3.
Bought and get that $10 back and then buy something else. Like this is what NFTs allows for. It's what it's kind of built for. NFTs unlock certain doors. You can create systems like this. You can do things like this where it's almost designed. You almost have to do things like this.
You almost have to do interoperability is what he's talking about. That's my favorite term right there in Web3 pretty much. And there's a couple different definitions out there. I know VeVe Web2, they're going to probably do like asset interoperability perhaps. Now we don't know that for sure, but where you can take your your asset into another digital, environment or, immersive experience or whatever. But in Web3, it's more like, you can take your NFT literally into multiple games, play with it, and you also have self-custody. So those are the kind of like two differences between the two different interoperabilities. But I see a future where platforms will have to kind of gravitate towards regular interoperability long term. That's just my opinion.
It's just weird how that works. So I'm really looking forward to where this is going to go, because check this out. This clip also made me think about Steam a little bit. Steam is really just a platform where you have a bunch of video games listed. You have a bunch of video games listed. People download the video games from Steam. And I looked up how much money they have, how much money they've made. And 10 billion in 2021 is crazy. I was not expecting that type of number. I honestly did not even know if Steam made money but I guess it makes sense because Steam is similar to Google. Google doesn't actually do anything. Well, it does a lot, but it doesn't. It's like you just search things and it shows you other things that's out there. On Steam, you search for games and it shows you other games that's out there. You can see all the games that's out there on Steam. And basically Steam is the Google for gaming. And this is the type of money that they're generating. So if VeVe becomes that key that unlocks all this door to IP and IP games, IP mini games, IP, all types of IP stuff moving into Web 3 or Web 2.5 is what people are calling it these days. I don't know if VeVe has any intentions of ever going full on Web 3.
So he's got some good points there. Now, I don't know, like it'll take a lot of development to make that happen, in my opinion. And VeVe's got a lot on their plate. They have tons of IP to drop. Will they just stick with their bread and butter, or will they do stuff like that? That'll be time. I guess we'll tell with time. But there's already also, these Steam Web3 Steams right here, which this is called Ultra. I actually have access to the beta. You have free games that you can download as well. And that's kind of another thing too, is you have like some pretty insane talent and developers in the Web3 gaming space currently. And there's like been over $1 billion year to date that has been invested into Web3 games. So that will be like really like that basically barrier to entry. That window is going to start closing. Look at Open Loot. They do this with game titles already. What Cavell's describing is already being done across a few different marketplaces. You look at Immutable X, you look at Gala Games. They're kind of already doing this, right? And so I don't know if VeVe is going to go in this direction, although it could be definitely a strategy, and they could do like a hype beast model as well, and maybe even improve upon that. I think that they should stick with maybe their bread and butter and continue down that road for a little bit. And we've seen them drop comics. I've always said that IP and even storytelling is big in the NFT space, and I think a lot of brands out there have dropped the ball on that, but VeVe obviously just dropped their comic book, and I think they could really excel in that area of original IP and storytelling and continue with that model. You can see in this video And even in the background, they recently partnered with Funko, doing the, Iron Man and the phygital side. So phygital is another area where I think VeVe could excel. Now, this same goes for Cryptoys. Cryptoys already has original IP as well. These other digital collectible apps don't necessarily have the original IP. Todd McFarlane has his original IP. You see where I'm going with this? Now, Todd McFarlane has like years in advance of like storytelling, Spawn, and all that stuff. So each platform is pretty unique, right? This is where I'm trying to get at, is I think that's where digital collectibles will have a clear advantage, some of these platforms. But when you start getting into Web3 games, that's where you'll have a lot of incumbents. Even Web2 studios, I'm starting to see move into the space. I've even seen like the executives talk about metaverse and gaming becoming one thing. And so, yeah, it's like definitely there's some beasts out here in the Web3 gaming space. And some games haven't even raised enough funding. It's going to be multi-millions of dollars to invest in some of these things. And yeah, but that's just my opinion on all this. What do you think VeVe will do in the future? Drop it down in the comments below. Will they continue down the path of the IP storytelling and things like that, and kind of that hype beast model? Or do you think that they should go where with Cavell's kind of trying to mention here in his video with interoperability, games, utility, and that kind of thing? I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll have to do another Web3 gaming video about this topic in the not so distant future. But hope you enjoyed. Hit that subscribe and notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.